welcome to the live, people who are joining, if anybody's here. This light is bright. Might go turn on my main light and just see how it is. The question is, am I a bit flickery, aren't I? That's not too bad. I'll see. Any questions, get them in the chat. I'm all ears to any questions. But we'll give you a run through of the team anyway, and let you know how I'm feeling. So we'll start off in goal, where we've got David Raya. Disappointing not to get a clean sheet last week, obviously, but I mean, if there's any fixture that you get a clean sheet in, surely it's Southampton, right? So David Raya is in goal. Oh, we'll move that out of the way. I might be blocking it. We've got David Raya in goal. Nice fixture. Great fixture. If you don't get a clean sheet, I think it's time for me to retire from FPL. Then we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, which the question is, what I'm thinking is, if the team news comes out early that Luis Diaz isn't in the starting 11, then Trent would be a transfer out for me to go to Cole Palmer, because right now I'm going without Cole Palmer. But if I just feel like there's no need for me to do it if Diaz is starting. But if Diaz isn't starting, chances are I'll go Trent down to, it would have to be Mykolenko, but then there's rumours of Mykolenko missing the match due to injury. So it'll be Trent down to Mykolenko, because that's the only defender I can afford at 4.3 million that's actually any good, I think. And then it will be Luis Diaz up to Palmer. I can do it without taking a hit, which is all right. Who should I captain, Haaland or Palmer? For me, I prefer Haaland personally. I did a captains video. If you I don't know if you've been on my TikTok or not, but on my TikTok I did a top 5 captains video. For me, I ranked Haaland at number 1 and then Palmer number 2. That's what I did personally. So I'd go for Haaland, but there's so many good options for captaincy this week. You know, there's obviously Haaland, obviously Palmer, you've mentioned. Saka's a good option still. Salah's a good option. And Mbuemo against Wolves is a good option, honestly. And I think Ollie Watkins against United is a good option. Like, there's so many good options for captaincy this week. So I'd say Haaland number 1, Palmer number 2 for me. But as I say, what do I know? Realistically, they're both great options. Then the other question, I guess, is if is Rico Lewis going to start or not, which is an interesting one because otherwise I'm going to have Ola Aina playing against Chelsea, which isn't the end of the world, but it's not ideal, is it? But I don't mind Aina playing. He's Nottingham Forest are a solid defence, so I'm not mad at it. Then Gabriel against Southampton, good fixture. So the back line looks pretty good, to be fair, because Trent's obviously got that potential for an attacking return if he does stay in my team, which he probably will do. But even if Luis Diaz doesn't start, I could easily just swap to Wood and then just still not make any transfers and go without Palmer and then save a transfer. Because ideally, I would like to bank another transfer. Then I've got 3 transfers going into the international break, and then I can kind of just reassess from there and see. Because I just think if Palmer doesn't do anything against Forest, no one's going to be bringing him ahead of Liverpool. But the problem is Palmer will probably do something against Nottingham Forest. Let's be honest. Is having Sanchez and Martinez good options for goalkeeper? I use my wildcard. I wouldn't spend that much money on my goalkeepers. To have Sanchez and Martinez, I think just one of them's enough, and then just go for a 4 million. Personally, I think even though fixtures look bad for goalkeepers, but sometimes playing against a good team for a goalie isn't even a problem because they can get a lot of saving points. So I literally I just pick one keeper and then you can spend more money on your attack and that because that's where the money is more valuable. Having a keeper on your bench, say you bench Martinez at 5 million, whatever he is, I just don't think it's worth it having a keeper like that sat on your bench. I'd just pick either Martinez or Sanchez, who you prefer, and then just go for a 4 million keeper and just play your starting keeper, play either Martinez or Sanchez every single week. That's what I would do personally. Because that's like what? Sanchez is 4.7, 4.8, and Martinez is 5. It's like 9.8 million on your goalies, and one of them's not even going to play. When you can may as well just spend it could be 9 million on your goalies or 8.8 million on your keepers, and you're benching one of them at the end of the day. And what you'll find as well is whatever keeper you bench, the other one went about scoring, then you'll just be more annoyed. Then it'll just be to the point where you may as well just pick one keeper and not have to. Then at least you don't have that problem as well. You don't have that annoyance at the end of the weekend when one of your keepers is outscored the other. But cheers for the question. Also as well, we've got 4 people in. If you all don't mind dropping a like, it'll help me out a lot. So please do leave a like. And do subscribe to the channel as well if you are an FPL fan. And cheers for tuning in as well. If you're from the TikTok or if you're from YouTube, whatever, then thank you very much for tuning in. It really means a lot. But I'm feeling good. I mean, the team looks good. I mean, obviously we had a shocking wildcard last week, which is not ideal, but it happens. It's 1 week. People say a lot after the wildcard, but it's literally, wildcard's built for multiple weeks. It's not just built for the next game. Even though game week 6, I expected a decent score, to be honest, with the team. The fixtures, everything looked good, but, you had double Arsenal defence against Leicester. Didn't happen. The clean sheet never happened, which was normally you'd expect that to absolutely happen. And then you had Haaland, who's never blanked all season, which is my captain. Didn't happen again. Just everything kind of went wrong. And then Palmer scoring 4 is just ridiculous. If he just scored 2 goals or whatever, I would have been pretty much on an average score. But, the fact that Palmer did that much damage absolutely finished me for the week. which is a shame. But any questions, fire them away ahead of the deadline. I mean, it's still a while to get. Still, what, like 12 hours, even more than that, 15 hours to the deadline. But I'm busy tomorrow morning, so I thought I'd hop on now and do a little live. And the midfield looks nice as well, I think. I mean, obviously a lot depends on Luis Diaz. But the other four, like, I'm happy to play Rodgers, to be honest. I mean, Rodgers or Chris Wood is kind of my big decision at the moment, but then a lot of that depends on what happens with Luis Diaz if he does start, which I think he will start, to be fair. But obviously it's not guaranteed. But I think I'm starting to lean towards Morgan Rodgers as my player to go for, just because United haven't been good. Rodgers looks pretty nailed on to start with a few injuries for Aston Villa, and Rodgers has been so good. There's no reason why he wouldn't start. I'm saying he could even get the full 90. Chris Wood doesn't really play 90 minutes, and Chelsea's a difficult fixture, but Chelsea have conceded goals, so again, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Wood scored. So that's kind of another reason why, say Luis Diaz doesn't start, I can bring in Chris Wood anyway, and I wouldn't be too mad playing him. Obviously, I'd rather play Luis Diaz, but Chris Wood, I don't mind playing him against Chelsea. As I say, Chelsea aren't the best defensively. Cheers to the likes, by the way. Not 2 likes. Thank you for liking the stream. And cheers for subscribing as well. I think we had 2 new subs since the start of the stream, so thank you to the people who subscribed. Very much appreciated. But let me know as well in the chat how many or who's captaining who. Who's going to be your captain this week? I've got it on Haaland, but tough decision. It is a tough decision. There's a lot of good options this week, but let me know. I did a video earlier on TikTok. A lot of people were saying not a lot of people were saying Haaland. Haaland wasn't massively popular in my comment section, but I feel like in general, surely it's got to be Haaland, right? As the most popular. But I think Haaland for me is like number 1, and then number 2 will be Palmer if I had him, but number 2 in my team Saka, and then I mean I like Mbeumo as well. To be fair, Mbeumo is good. Watkins is good. There's so many good options for captaincy this week. Like, it's crazy. A lot of the good players who you'd like to captain have really good fixtures. But I'm still backing Haaland. I'm still backing Haaland personally. I was on captain Salah, but I took a 4-point hit from Haaland in. Fair enough. Haaland or Saka for me, still thinking, yeah. I mean, in my team, I have the question, yeah, Saka's my vice, and then Haaland, even like a Dom Solanke's a massive differential, wouldn't even be a bad captain and everything. I think he's got to do well against Brighton. But obviously, I'd never, ever consider him for captain. But yeah, I think Haaland or Saka, for me, it's Haaland. But, I mean, as I say, both great options. And if you look at it, just the fixture alone, who's got the best fixture, it is Saka. Saka's got the fixture of the weekend. And then you'd probably say Haaland's got the second best fixture. I mean, you're saying Mbeumo would have the second best fixture, but then I'm not really including him. But I'd say Haaland's got a better fixture than Palmer. Palmer against Forest is a tough game. You saw how Forest defended against Liverpool, and who's to say that they can't do the same against Chelsea? And like Fulham have been decent. They did keep a clean sheet against Forest, but Fulham have conceded in every other game except from that game against Forest. Captain Palmer, vice captain Haaland, yeah, fair enough. I don't hate that at all. If I had it, I'd still go for Haaland. As I said in my video that I did, I put Haaland as my number 1, but That's not to say Palmer's a great option this weekend. And we saw how good he was last weekend. If he does the same again, then, you know, he's looking good. But, yeah, I like that. Palmer was my second choice captain. And that's just based on the fact that I like Saka, obviously, as an option. I feel like I've got more confidence in Saka returning, but I have more confidence in Palmer getting a big like captaincy points haul, which is what captaincy is about. I think that makes any sense. With Ødegaard fit, I would go for Saka. Without him, I prefer Haaland. Yeah, that's very true. Because I think Saka's kind of with Ødegaard, he's nowhere near he's not as big a goal threat as without Ødegaard. I think I also kind of switched up the kind of system, switched up the kind of formation, the way that they play. Obviously, now that Ødegaard's injured, they've kind of had to adapt. And as you've said there, I don't think Saka's as dangerous as what he was maybe in the first few weeks. But then again, saying that it is Southampton, so you'd expect Saka to either way get a lot of chances and be very creative because he is such a creative player. But yeah, that's another reason for me to go Haaland as well. But even if Ødegaard was fit, to be honest, I'd still be backing Erling Haaland. Personally, I can't go against him. Haaland is more fixture proof, so I believe in him to haul. I took a -4. Yeah, I mean you're always taking the risk, aren't you? You've really got to hope Salah does nothing. Which honestly, I think I put Salah as my third best captain this week. I still think Salah's going to do well against Crystal Palace. Like Palace concede goals. Obviously, they kept a clean sheet against United, but other than that, Palace haven't been the best defensively. So it would not surprise me if Salah comes in with some points, but then it also wouldn't surprise me if Haaland comes in with points. And you know, if you're gonna, I'm guessing you're bringing in, you're taking out Haaland and you're bringing in. I mean, you're taking out Salah and you're bringing in Haaland. And I'd imagine you're captaining Haaland. So you maybe if Haaland massively outperforms Salah, the hit's absolutely worth it. If not, then you could be in a bit of trouble. But Salah he's not as popular, is he? Haaland's so popular, like so popular. Cheers for everyone tuning in as well. If you don't mind dropping a like on the stream, it'd be very much appreciated. 4 likes on the stream, so thank you to everyone that's dropped a like. Very much appreciated. And let me know in the chat, right? Let's say yes or no. Do you think Luis Diaz will start? Yes or no? Obviously, he played 70 minutes in the Champions League. He played in the weekend as well, or the Premier League. Played like another 70 there. Will he start, or will it be Gakpo who comes in on the left? I still back Luis Diaz to start, but I mean, there's that slight bit of doubt, you know. If Luis Diaz didn't start in the Champions League, I'd be thinking that, you know, he'd be absolutely nailed on to start. But then it's just that slight bit of doubt that I've got now that Gakpo didn't start the Champions League and Luis Diaz did. Cheers for the likes, up to 5 likes, very much appreciated. I actually have a strong feeling in Salah doing well, but going for Haaland is the best. As if I went without it, and if it, my rank would drop, so much better. Flag of Haaland, and if it's better. Yeah, I know what you mean, yes. Haaland's definitely like the safer pick in terms of ownership, and, you know, Haaland, he could absolutely, you know, he could do people in. He can literally drop people's ranks by millions. Tough call, but I'm counting on the pre-match leaks tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm waiting for that. You know, that's where I make my decision from there. If you know, the question is if Luis Diaz isn't starting, do I just bench him and put Chris Wood in, or do I go, because I can do a Palmer transfer in 2 moves, and without a hit, so I could just do that, and then it does kind of eliminate any doubt in my team in terms of can Palmer absolutely ruin my rank again like he did last week. Which he very well could ruin my rank again this week. So it is a bit risky going without him, but I'm really hoping, if I don't have him, I'm really hoping he blanks. And then if he blanks, happy days. Like, then it's just about Salah then, pretty much. Also, as well, if you're in the stream and you're not subscribed, please do hit subscribe. Be very much appreciated. We're currently, how many are we off the next 100? Let me just have a look. We're currently 15 subscribers off 4,800. So if you don't mind subscribing and get to the next 100, it'll be very much appreciated. But yeah, I mean, I'm liking the midfield. As long as Diaz starts, it's absolutely fine. You know, you have Diaz starting against Palace, Mbeumo against Wolves, Semenyo against Leicester, great fixture. Saka against Southampton's an amazing fixture. Rodgers against United, honestly, at this point, looks like a really good fixture. Then Solanke against Brighton is a good fixture because Brighton defensively, especially now Van Heck's injured as well, and he's out of the game. Brighton look even, you know, they looked absolutely shambolic against Chelsea defensively. And, you know, Spurs have been one of the best, if not the best, like, on statistically, like the best attacking team Spurs have been so far this season. So that looks like it could be a good opportunity for Solanke to get some points, hopefully. I mean, honestly, I'll still take 6 points off Solanke, but he needs to get a bit more than that. He needs to get like a goal and assist, 2 goals, whatever, or at least a goal and some bonus points. Like, he's had the XG, but he's just not quite got the points that have matched his XG. Then obviously Haaland, we know how good he is. The transfer I actually did was Trent Salah and Watkins for Gvardiol and Mbeumo and Haaland. Very risky. It's a good play to good players. But I managed to create reason for each player. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, obviously getting rid of them players is risky. Because, as you say, all three of Trent, Salah and Watkins, it wouldn't be out of the question for every single one of them to get a return. Like, genuinely, it wouldn't. But the players that you are bringing in is great. And Mbeumo going without him is also risky as well. So the transfers in I do like. It's obviously the players that you got rid of, but in FPL, as you say, you can't get everyone. So, you know, if you believe that they're going to get more points than the other three, then absolutely, it's fair enough. Diaz starts, I reckon, then Gakpo post-international break, like he was supposed to last time. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, we're just hoping for these leaks, because it is a bit of a guessing game. It's just a bit concerning how Diaz has now started the last 2 games. I was really expecting Gakpo to start that Champions League game, and that's what puts the little bit of doubt into my mind. But as you say, I am leaning towards Diaz starting. I do reckon Diaz will start, but obviously you can't help but doubt it as well at the same time. And if he doesn't start, it throws an absolute spanner in the works for me, which is not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting a nice game week with no stress and Cole Palmer blanking, ideally. Rodgers in my starting lineup and a bench DCL. Is that a mistake? Oh, that's honestly so tough. But honestly, when I'm looking at something like that, I think I'd look at something just like ownership, but that's probably the wrong way to look at it. And like Rodgers is probably the safer pick in terms of he is higher owned than DCL. And then, like, you know, if something does go wrong, then you're not taking as big a loss. But maybe that's a silly way of looking at it. But if I was looking at it, I'd probably start Rodgers. But then DCL, Newcastle, honestly, Newcastle aren't the best defensive. That's such a benching headache. That is really a tough one. But I think I'd go for Rodgers if it was me. I'd start Rodgers. But as I say, that's such a tough one. I had Mbeumo for his 2 goals, but then I took him out for Eze, as he had City and Spurs. It didn't go. Oh yeah, that's unlucky. And Eze's just disappointed so much, hasn't he? He's been such a frustrating player to own over the course of the season. But yeah, Mbeumo, I always thought Mbeumo would do well against Spurs. I thought he'd get something against Spurs. City, obviously, he didn't get anything. But, you know, it was kind of he was like, everyone was talking about him from what was it, game week 3 was it? Everyone was talking about him, or game week 4. You know, from even just after them 2 games, everyone was like, you got to get him in. I'm a Robbo owner. I think Diaz starting is linked to Robbo starting last game. Gakpo played with Simicast. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was expecting him. Yeah, on that whole left side, I was expecting it to be in the Champions League. I was expecting it to be Simicast left back and Gakpo on the left, but obviously it wasn't that, which was a surprise to me. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Simicast came on as well. Didn't he? Simicast came on for the last 20 as well. So yeah, maybe he's going to stick with the starting 11 with Robertson and Diaz on the left, and then again, it'll probably. I mean, there's no way Diaz is getting 90 minutes, is there? Even if he's starting, there's no way he's played 90. Gakpo will come on 100%. He said that Nunez is fit as well, isn't he? So Nunez, I don't know who will start up front, Nunez or Jota. Because who started? Was it Jota who started? Jota started in the Champions League, didn't he? And then Nunez came on for the last 30, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Newcastle managed to keep City out for a bit, so they have shown that they're semi-capable of defending while United a very poor midfield, and that's where Rodgers will shine. Yeah, I think Rodgers will absolutely destroy United. I can't see anything but like whoever starts in that United midfield, if it's Casemiro, Ugarte if he comes back in, or Kobe Mainoo, I just think Rodgers is so good. Like he's too, as you say, he's just too good. Like Rodgers' ball carrying ability is dangerous, and for a team like United, who haven't got the strongest of midfields, Rodgers will surely have an absolute field day, right, against United. But if United were solid defensively, as you said before, the DCL and Rodgers question, like, you know, if United weren't so terrible defensively, it'd be quite a straightforward decision to go for DCL. But obviously, with United playing the way that they are, and Rodgers being in the form that he is and Villa in the form that they are, it's tough to, you know, go against Aston Villa. It really is. But it's disappointing. I mean, the wildcard went so badly last week. Obviously, as I said before, you're wildcarding for like a longer period of time than 1 week. But to get off to a start like that on your wildcard is tragic. And then when you had players that actually did well, like my pre-wildcard team would have beaten my wildcard team by like 12 points or something. Like, absolute, just pure disappointment. But it happens. And as I say, the wildcard is for longer than this. And I still, like, I looked at the team after the week, after I had that terrible week or whatever. It was like 40 points, whatever I got. Look at it. And I look at the team for next week. I still think, like, the team is good. Like, the team is good. I've had Martinez all season. They've had such good fixtures, but no clean sheet. But then they go on a clean sheet against Bayern. Hard to see. Yeah, Villa have kept no clean sheets in the Prem, but then they've kept 2 clean sheets out of 2 in the Champions League. Like, so frustrating to be, if you own any Villa defender or goalie. So frustrating. But United, will United score against Villa? I don't know. It's a tough one. But yeah, as I say, Villa have been, in the Premier League, not the most solid defensive. I mean, conceding 2 to Ipswich isn't ideal. A wildcard in game week 3 has worked out pretty well so far, decent. Do you have I'm guessing you have Cole Palmer, Soros. Surely you've got Cole Palmer for it to make it to go decent, right? Should I start Robinson versus Man City or Fas? I mean, if it was Man City at home for Robinson, I'd maybe say Robinson, but Fas against Bournemouth is definitely better than Robinson. Just, I think is that City do concede goals. Like City always concede some. They don't like concede many chances, but they always seem to concede like 1 a game or just some stupid goal. But the chance in Robinson being involved in that goal is just so unlikely, really. And City will definitely score against Fulham, right? So I'd go for Wout Faes against Bournemouth. But Bournemouth, again, I do expect Bournemouth to score against Leicester, so ideally you're just not in a great position in terms of your defence there. But I think I'd go for Faes. Man United are pretty attacking, but can't finish. I reckon they score but get battered. Yeah, score first and get battered. Yeah, I think United are good going forward. And like Rashford has looked better this season. They have got Bruno Fernandes available, which is decent for United. Ahmad's decent, and Garnacho, they're all decent players going forward, and Haaland's obviously scoring in the Champions League. But yeah, as you say, Villa just always seem to concede as well. So United, I do think United have got a good chance of getting a goal. Yeah, Palmer. Yeah, I mean pretty much people who haven't got Palmer have dropped down the ranks so much like me. I wasn't even doing that bad before the Palmer week last week. I love watching that guy so much. He makes me love football. I rate him so high. Who are you talking about? Who, Palmer? Because Palmer is class. I mean, it could be Palmer, it could be even Morgan Rogers you're talking about. Because Morgan Rogers is class as well. But yeah, Palmer is genuinely unreal. The thing is that the reason why I didn't put Palmer in my wildcard team, right, is because on in the Premier League, they played West Ham the game before a wildcard in the game week 5. Palmer got subbed after 63 minutes. And obviously that's not going to happen too often. But that was like enough for me to think that even Palmer can get subbed, and I thought Saka, he is 90 minutes pretty much. So that's why I went for Saka. And the next two things, like looking at on paper as well, you had Palmer against Brighton, who Brighton were pretty good. I mean, defended alright as well up until that game against Chelsea, obviously. And then Forest, who were also good defensively. And then Arsenal had Leicester, who have conceded a lot of goals, and Southampton. And then they had Bournemouth after that. So the next three just look so much better for Saka. That's why I went for Saka. And obviously it's not worked out so far. We'll have to hope that Saka can make up a bit of it in this next week. I took a -4 for Isak to Vardy and Adama to Maddison. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's a good move. I would have got Isak definitely a transfer out, obviously with him not being fit enough to play. So Isak was a definite transfer out. And Vardy's got a good fixture on coming up, so I don't mind the transfer at all. And Adama to Maddison, yeah, I mean Spurs look so good going forward. They've been like the most creative team so far in the Premier League. And Adama's playing against Man City, and it's an upgrade massively from Adama to Maddison. So I do like that. I do like them transfers. I do really like them. And Palmer, what a player, genuinely. Painful not to own him, but I mean, I hope he just has an absolute stinker this week. But it's probably not going to happen, let's be real. I'm hoping for a Nottingham Forest defensive masterclass. And then in that masterclass, Ola Aina goes and bags 3 bonus points. Rico Lewis then doesn't start the Man City game. And then Aina comes in for a mighty 9-pointer. That's what we hope for. Probably not going to happen. Cheers for tuning into the stream, by the way. Very much appreciated. Cheers for the likes as well. We're up to 6 likes. If everybody doesn't mind dropping a like on the stream, it'll be very much appreciated. But the question as well, do you think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Rico Lewis will start against Fulham? Obviously, he played the 90 in the Champions League against Bratislava, and then he did start and played. I think it was 80 odd minutes against Newcastle last week. So that's 2 90 minutes. Will it be 3 90 minutes in 7 days for Rico Lewis, or 3 starts for Rico Lewis? Do you think Rico Lewis will start? I think he will. I do think he'll start because I mean Kyle Walker, he just hasn't been at it whenever he's played this season. Even the goal against Newcastle, he was playing everybody onside. And then if not anyway, even if Kyle Walker does start, Rico Lewis has got that chance of starting in centre mid, which he did against Newcastle as well. So I think he should start, but I'm not. Obviously, you can't be convinced with that. If he starts every week, then what a player. Is having Havertz good? Yeah, Havertz is a great pick. Great pick this week, Havertz is. I prefer Solanke's fixtures long term, and obviously, Spurs haven't been good going forward overall. But Havertz is still a great option, especially for this fixture. This week, I'd back Havertz over Solanke. I think you will, yeah. I hope so. Should I keep Matoma? He should be fine to start, right? And he's got it's not a good fixture. Spurs isn't a good fixture, but it's not a terrible fixture. So I'd probably, if I had Matoma, I'd probably keep him unless you're gonna do him in like a 2 transfer, maybe like a downgrade to upgrade to somebody else or something. But just the transfer, I think I'd stick with Matoma, honestly. I think he won't. He's still a young player. However, if he plays, he can get loads of rest in the break. Yeah, he's in the England squad as well, though. So he'll be playing for England most likely as well. He'll be definitely given a go by Lee Carsley, won't he? But 3 games in 7 days for someone like Rico Lewis. He's very. I don't think he's really done it too much in his career. And it could just be an easy, for Pep, just start Kyle Walker right back and then play whoever in centre mid, like Kovacic, Gundogan, whoever there is in centre mid, who they could play. But I think Rico Lewis, whenever he's played against Bratislava, I watched not all of the game, watched most of the game against Bratislava, and he was amazing. Rico Lewis is genuinely a class player, like right back or centre mid. I think he's better at right back, but. He's great. He's a great player. Genuinely, he's an unbelievable player. Like he's going to get good minutes for Man City, especially with Rodri being out, Kyle Walker not being in top of his form. And he is really the replacement for Kyle Walker you'd expect in that right back position, unless City go out and sign someone. Because Pep could see Lewis as a centre mid, maybe, but I think long term he's got to be taking Walker's place, right? I reckon Havertz hauls against Southampton, so Saka probably gets some assists. Hopefully, we need a Saka goal though. Assists. We need more than assists. We need goals. We need a goal and assist at least for Saka. Obviously right now I'll probably just take 1 contribution, but realistically, we need 2 contributions of bonus for Saka for me to consider. I mean, I'm going to be keeping him anyway, realistically. I think I'm going to find a way to get to Palmer without getting rid of Saka. I think maybe he's going for all 3 premiums in Saka, Palmer, and Haaland is probably the way. But Saka could easily become Foden and save like $1 million. That's also something I can consider, but we'll have to see Foden's minutes. Is Saka to Salah or Palmer a good option or no? If I had Saka, I mean, if I had Salah, I probably wouldn't be moving him on this week. I'd probably just hold my transfer, honestly. But if you really think that Palmer and Saka are going to massively outperform Salah this week, then fair enough, go for it. But if it was me in that situation, I'd probably just keep Salah. But then what do I know, really? Lewis plays such a different role than I think Pep is trying to evolve his team so that Walker is trying to evolve his team into so Walker is rapidly seeing less minutes. Yeah, well, I mean, I just think Walker this season, I mean, Pep's not favouring him at all. But it's just, I feel like he would have started, if he wasn't going to play Walker, he would have, in this Premier League game, he wouldn't have played Walker, he would have played Walker in the game against Bratislava, which he didn't play Walker. So it's a tough one. It's just such a guessing game. Back to Pep roulette again, isn't it, really? But yeah, as I say, Lewis is a long-term player to... Like, he's a long-term Man City... Not a key player, but he's a long-term Man City starter. He could be a key player as well. Lucky Diaz, I'll take him. How do you think he'll start? Honestly, wait for early team news tomorrow. We should hopefully, with Liverpool being the early kick-off, we should get early team news. Which, then, we should hopefully know then if Diaz is starting or not. And if he's not starting, then maybe get rid. It depends who's on your bench, that does. But if he's starting, I'd just keep him, honestly. If Diaz in 60-70 minutes is really good against Crystal Palace. Like, we've seen how good Diaz is. And I just think as well, with the form that Diaz is in, he's been Liverpool's best attacker. He's arguably been better than Salah in the Premier League. So I just don't see... I just think he's got to start, right? Especially with the international break coming up next as well. Like, he's got no reason to rest him. It's not like he's got another game on Tuesday or anything like that. I think Slot will want to start his best 11 for the game against Palace, and Diaz is part of that best 11 as of right now. But as I say, probably best waiting for the early team news. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then do subscribe to the channel. It'll be very much appreciated. We're going to put another subscriber, so thank you to whoever subscribed recently. We're 14 subscribers of 4,800, so if anybody's in here that's not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be very much appreciated. Jamie Vardy will get points coming with these fixtures coming up. If it was me, I probably wouldn't choose Jamie Vardy just based on maybe I'm just being ageist or something, but he is old. But the fixtures coming up, and he's bagged 2 goals already this season, right? 2 goals, I think. Yeah, 2 goals so far this season. And with the fixtures coming up, them next 4, Bournemouth, Southampton, Forest, Ipswich, 3 of them. Forest, I don't know if it's a decent fixture. That's 4 good fixtures in a row. So yeah, honestly, Vardy I think will score. But longer term, I'm not sure. But for the next 4 weeks, Vardy's a great pick, no doubt about it. Vardy's because it's Vardy, and Vardy, he just comes up with a goal, doesn't he? I didn't think he'd start that much, but I mean, he is Leicester's main striker. Who's the other options at Leicester? They signed Edouard, didn't they? Yeah, it's only Vardy and Edouard. And Edouard, has Edouard even started a match yet this season? Or has he just come off the bench every game? Edouard started the second match, and that was it. His minutes have been dropping. So Vardy is pretty nailed as well. And what's Vardy's minutes been like so far? Pretty much 90 minutes. I mean, the last 3 weeks, 90, 82. Last 4 weeks, 90, 90, 82, 90. So he's been getting good minutes as well. So yeah, Vardy's a great pick. And with them fixtures, Southampton, the guy's got to be returning, right, against Southampton. Come on. Southampton are just a shambles defensively. Vardy has scored 2, but the other games, 0. Yeah, I've seen that. So Vardy's shots are, very low down in comparison to the players around his kind of price bracket. But it's them fixtures, isn't it? You're picking Vardy for the fixtures, not for his underlying data. You're picking him for them upcoming fixtures, which is fair enough. Data-wise, I think Chris Wood's up there and Dominic Calvert-Lewin both got decent numbers. I think Jimenez has done alright as well, hasn't he? Since coming into the starting 11, I think Jimenez has got pretty good numbers as well. Let's have a look at Jimenez. Jimenez is great value as well if he keeps his place. Obviously, bad fixture this week, but let's have a look. Jimenez. Yeah, XGR per 90 for Jimenez 0.62, so really good numbers. I think that's better than Chris Wood, right? Let's have a look at Wood. Chris Wood. Yeah, Chris Wood actually have 0.47, so yeah, Jimenez is doing better in terms of that. Brian Anthony, because your TikTok great option. I rate that. Let me actually have a look now. How many transfers in has Anthony had this week? He was on like 800 or something when I last looked. Top transfers in. Let's go to Man United. See how Anthony's doing. Has anybody else brought in Anthony ahead of the deadline? Oh, more people. We're 2 transfers in off 1,000 for Anthony this week. So if you want to bring in Anthony, he's there. As soon as I took Smith Rowe out, he got 7 and 8 points. Not ideal. I mean, Smith Rowe isn't that popular anymore on for wildcards anyway. Smith Rowe is kind of, he's not been looked at, but Smith Rowe's always been good. He's been good at home, away from home. That's the reason why I was thinking about putting Smith Rowe on my wildcard team, but he's only returned when he's at home. And I thought he's not going to return away from home, and he didn't against Forest. And he's got City away next, but then after that, Villa at home, Everton away, Brentford at home, Palace away, Wolves at home. It's a nice run of fixtures. Like, it is a decent run there. So that's why Jimenez, if Jimenez keeps his place from game week 8 onwards, as I say, if he's starting for Fulham at that price, at like 5.4, 5.5 million, whatever he is, he's great value. Like, he is genuinely great value. But there's a few bad games for Jimenez, and then you feel like Munoz is back in the side again. And if Munoz comes on and makes an impression off the bench and that, it's just it's a tough one, that is. It's a tricky one. Like, with someone like Vardy, you're pretty much Vardy can have a few bad games and you'd still probably be starting. And same with probably Chris Wood with the lack of options there. Forest have. I don't know what's happening with Amani. I just feel Amani was good a couple of seasons ago, but he just can't stay fit or something. Like, he's available. And he came on for 45 against Fulham. But Amani's minutes to 45, 1, 15, 18. Like, Wood's pretty nailed in that side, to be fair, with Forest not signing anyone. And DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is nailed as well. That's a good thing about Calvert-Lewin. He is nailed. I mean, I did a TikTok on my other account, on my just like general football account, talking about Everton, talking about McNeil. And I said in the video that Calvert-Lewin's a decent striker at Premier League level, like he can chip in with some goals. And I was just getting cooked by the Everton fans saying that Calvert-Lewin's apparently terrible. But I mean, I don't think he's terrible. I mean, come on. There's a lot worse strikers than Calvert-Lewin out there. Whenever I watch Calvert-Lewin, I watched him against Everton when they played Villa. And Calvert-Lewin was class. Genuinely, that's such a good threat. That's such a big threat. I still have Robbo, and I'm hoping for a return this week. And not a Trent return. Well, you might get a return from both if you get a clean sheet. Would Diaz start? No, honestly, with Diaz, you just got to wait for early teamers. Early teamers should come out for Liverpool before the deadline, so then you'll get your answer then. But if I was to predict, I think Diaz will start. Obviously, I don't know that, but that's what I think. I reckon if Vardy was in the City team, he would score a lot of goals. So would a lot of the Premier League strikers, to be fair. But I don't know, some players just don't score that many goals, even if playing for a big team, it's not as easy as what it is. Because even like players like Gabriel Jesus didn't score a lot of goals in some seasons for Man City. Diaz or Salah. I mean, Salah's got the nailed on. Salah's nailed, isn't he? So it will be Salah. But taking price into it, I'd probably just go for Diaz. But Diaz is such a big risk. But if you're on a wild card and you're debating between the two, I'd put Salah in just to be safe. But then it's at the detriment to the rest of your team. Like, are you going to be able to get a Palmer, a Saka, a Haaland? You can't really get everyone. Should I trust Rodgers? Yeah, I'd trust Rodgers. he's done enough in the last 2 Premier League games with a goal and 2 assists. That's enough to trust him for me. I thought it was destined for me to bench Rodgers one week and him to return, like he did the first time he returned. Obviously, that didn't happen, luckily. But I trust Rodgers. The guy's unreal. And against that United defence as well, I just think he's going to absolutely bully them. Like, genuinely. What about Semenyo? Yeah, it depends. If you transfer him in, then I wouldn't really go to Semenyo now. Even you kind of missed the boat. The game was against Southampton to bring in Semenyo. But if you're on about, like, you trust him to start him this week, yeah, defo. Like, Leicester away's a great fixture. He's in my team, and I'm trusting him. Just beyond that, he's got Man City, Arsenal, and Villa. But, Villa isn't a bad fixture. Villa haven't kept a clean sheet all season in the Prem. So, I don't think Villa's a bad fixture. And then beyond that, it's good fixture for Bournemouth. So, as a long-term pick, I think Semenyo's a really good pick, to be honest. Obviously, you're going to have to bench him, as I say, probably in the game against Liverpool and in the game against Man City. You probably want to bench him. But, if you've got a strong squad, I'm going to be happy to bench Semenyo, because I'm going to have Chris Wood, who's got a better fixture. I'm happy to play Rodgers anyway. So I can just bench Semenyo. He's an easy bench against Man City and Arsenal. And you don't have that benching headache, which I seem to get every single week in my team. But yeah, I do trust Semenyo. I think he's a good option. If anybody's in here and you're not subscribed, by the way, as well, it'll be very much appreciated if you all hit subscribe in here. Bayern and Bournemouth both start with a B, so they might keep a clean sheet. That's an interesting theory. That is an interesting theory. I'm much needing a big game week this week. This needs to go well for me this week. After that last week, I got some ground to make up after last week. Got some serious ground to make up. Let me know in the chat, actually. Are you making any transfers? Or are you in a wild card? What are you doing this week? What's your plans? What's your transfer plans? Or have you already done them? What is your moves this week? For me, I'm waiting, obviously, till tomorrow to see the Luis Diaz news, if he starts or not. But if everything all goes to plan, I'm just rolling my transfer. And I want to get my third transfer going into the international break. So let me know, what's your transfer plans this week? Are you on wild card? Have you made any moves? As I say, I don't want to be fourth. I feel like I've never really wild carded and made a transfer the next week, so I'm obviously wild carded into a team that I'm happy with for the long term. Luis Diaz, the thing is with Diaz, I picked Diaz on fear of the ownership. I didn't even pick Diaz because I actually trusted the guy. He was always going to be a transfer out. Just Diaz, I don't know if he was a mistake or not. This game against Palace will prove it, if he's a mistake or not, really, because he'll probably be gone if he doesn't do anything. Rolly transfer, yeah, fair enough. Surely a lot of people obviously wildcard in game week 6, and I feel like a lot of people are going to roll, right? If they're wildcarding in the 6. But a lot of people might, if they haven't, wildcarded Palmer in, like me. A lot of people have obviously panicked and gone to Palmer. Well, not panicked, obviously, it's a good transfer in, but you know what I mean. A knee-jerk kind of reaction. Should I trust Jackson? Yeah, Jackson's got a nice fixture. Against Forest, I'd trust him. I picked Haaland due to fear, yeah. It's going to be due to fear, but then Haaland is also the best player, he's the highest point scorer in the league so far, isn't he? Or is he? He's going to be close with Palmer now, hasn't he? He's ahead of Palmer just. bold going without Haaland. But the last few weeks going without Haaland hasn't actually been that bad, has it? Because what's he done in the last 3 weeks? Not as much as what he did in the first few weeks, anyway. Well, from going from Palmer without, I'd say from game week 5, so you transferred him out at Arsenal, and then he's got 11 points in the last 2 games, which is obviously still not bad, but it's not exactly like it's going to absolutely ruin your rank. But we'll see how he gets on against Fulham, because that could ruin people's rank. I wildcarded and took out Mbeumo for Eze the next week. I went for 1 week punt that actually worked with 2 goals. Fair enough. If I have Palmer, Mbeumo, Rodgers, and Diaz, do I need Salah? No, I wouldn't say I don't think you need Salah now. I mean, because he hasn't done that well in the last few years. He's still done well, but he hasn't done like incredibly well. Where it's just to the point where he's like absolutely ruining your rank. Like at the end of the day, you can't get everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like I've not got Palmer in my team. I've not got Salah in my team. I can probably try and get to Palmer, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, you can't get everyone. You're just gonna have to hope that you pick the right ones, basically, because you know there could be a huge, you know, the people that got a huge green arrow for Palmer say they don't have Saka, and Saka goes in and bags a load of points, and Palmer blanks. The points get made up, and then the people who have Saka then have a huge green arrow compared to the ones that have Palmer that get a red arrow. There's just going to be a lot of swings in terms of, you know, you can't get every premium player, and one of the premium players is going to punish you, you know, if you have him or not. So it's a difficult one. I keep getting my captain wrong between Palmer and Salah when I hit the other one horse. That's just FPL summed up, isn't it? I did a transfer, right? I did in game week 3. Everyone was saying, oh, Salah and Haaland, it has to be those two, you know, what are you doing without him? So I foolishly went to Salah. Salah basically didn't do a lot, and then a wildcard of 6, Salah returns. Like, everything that I've done really has gone absolutely wrong. And then also like when I transferred in Salah, obviously captained him. It was in game week 4. Haaland played Arsenal. Game week 5, Haaland played Arsenal. Salah played, I can't remember who it was, but Salah didn't return. Haaland then scored straight away against Arsenal, and then Haaland wasn't my captain. It was Salah. I just remember that I told my friend to pick Semenyo, and then I picked Eze. I should have listened to it myself. Yeah, I mean, Semenyo's been good. I've had Semenyo since game week 3. He was my first transfer in, Semenyo was. And he's done well for me, to be fair. He just doesn't seem to get bonus points. That's his problem. Like, he got bonus in the first week, but I didn't own him then, so I don't care. He's only picked up 1 bonus point all season. And for how good Semenyo has been this season, to only come out with 1 bonus point is it's not great, is it? You know, for the amount of returns that he's had, what's he do? He scored 3 goals and got 1 assist in the opening 6 game weeks, and he's only come out with 1 bonus point altogether. And even against Southampton, like, I don't know how he didn't get a bonus, but I know obviously they have the bonus point system in that. But if you look at it on the eye test in that game, like who the best player on the pitch was, the best player on the pitch was Semenyo. So I thought he deserved at least some bonus points, but he got nothing, which is a shame. I mean, Kyle Walker-Peters, we're bringing somebody in for Kyle Walker-Peters, a 4.5 defender. Yeah, Mikolenko looks like he's Kyle Walker-Peters been dropped. That's crazy. He's actually a good player. Yeah, Mikolenko's injured. It looks like Mikolenko might be out for the game, which is not ideal, from what the reports are saying anyway. So Mikolenko wouldn't really be a transfer in just because of that news. At 4.5 million, I mean, I've got Aina. I don't think he's probably not the best one. A lot of people are thinking like Van de Ven's got good fixtures coming up, and he has been good going forward in terms of percent. About how long that can last, I'm not sure. But yeah, good fixtures coming up for Spurs after this Brighton game defensively. So maybe Van de Ven at 4.5 million is a good option. Wolves' fixtures turn as well. Aït-Nouri's really good going forward. Obviously, it would sound silly suggesting to pick a player that's in 20th place. Well, you know, his team's in 20th place. But Aït-Nouri, I don't even mind the look of. If Mikolenko was fit, he's someone that I'd go to, because the only move that I can do if I was to get Palmer in, well, I can't get him in another way, but the move that I would make would be Alexander-Arnold down to Mikolenko, and then Diaz up to Palmer, and I can exactly afford it. But the reason why I want to hold off on that transfer is because I'll probably do a different move. I'd probably then restructure my team completely, and then I'd go maybe Semenyo out, Semenyo down to like a Diblin at 4.6, and then I can easily afford then any defender that I want, basically, that's up until 5 million. So I think I could maybe even switch to Canate or someone. But Liverpool fixtures aren't the best. But there's a lot of things that I can do, but I just think hold the transfer. I'll have 3 transfers next week to then make my decision from, I've got more knowledge then next week to make my decisions. Because, if Palmer blanks, I'm not really going to be... I don't think I'd be transferring him in ahead of Liverpool. And then I'd want Palmer for the game against Newcastle, and then United. I'd want Palmer for that, because those are good fixtures even for Chelsea going forward. But Liverpool away, I know people say Palmer's stats are great against good teams as well, but it is Liverpool away. So I'm taking an absolute risk and going without Palmer, and really hoping that he doesn't do well. It doesn't damage me too much in the next 2 games. Maybe if he gets like 1 contribution, that's fine. And then I'll reassess in a couple of weeks. That's the plan. Looking at Ashley Young, 2 assists. I don't know about Ashley Young. I mean, he is starting week in, week out, isn't he? For Everton. And the defence is looking solid. But Branthwaite is rumoured to have a knock or maybe a slight doubt. And, if Everton don't have Branthwaite, it seems like they just can't function defensively. But so he got sent off, didn't he, Ashley Young? And then he has played 90 minutes ever since he's come back. He had 2 assists in the last 2 games. And good fixtures coming up, but honestly, picking Ashley Young at this in 2024 sounds crazy, doesn't it? It does sound crazy. Also, I've got 9 people in here. If you wouldn't mind dropping a subscription on the channel, hitting subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. It takes 1 second to subscribe, and it will mean a lot to me. You're lucky Palmer didn't do more damage. He missed 2 sitters after the 4 goals and missed out on 2 assists. Yeah, very true. 39, yeah, exactly. Should Johnson and Madueke? Yeah, I prefer Johnson to Madueke personally. But Madueke's starting, it's still not bad. Yeah, I mean, part of the thing is that if you look on the expected goals, you can say Palmer won a penalty, which is obviously, it's Cole Palmer, he scores penalties, and then he scored a banging free kick as well. His XG in that game was 3, and he got 4 contributions, so you can also argue that he overperformed as well. But then you can also look at it like that. It's you can look at it from two perspectives. How many times is Brighton gonna be that bad defensively? I can't believe how bad Brighton were. I say if Palmer just bagged 2 goals, it wouldn't look that bad, because what would that be? It would be 7, 12. It would be like a 15-pointer. And then you think at 15 points, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's still bad, but it's not. I'd be a lot closer to an okay week if you only scored 2. But scoring 4 is crazy. 4 is genuinely crazy. Yeah, Ashley Young being 39 is crazy. I mean, it's fair play to have that kind of longevity to play at the top level for that long. He's been at the top level since the guy was at Watford in 2006 or whatever in the Premier League, and to go all the way to 2024 to still be a Premier League player at 39, he's obviously to do that is unbelievable. You see the amount of players that not many players, outfielders, are playing at 39 and starting week in, week out at the Premier League. And Everton, obviously, they're at the bottom of the league. They've not started the season too great, but Everton are still a decent enough Premier League team. They're not they did well last season. So to be 39 and still starting week in, week out is genuinely an unbelievable achievement. And he's won the Prem, right? He has won the Prem with United. He's won trophies. He's played for England. Mate, the guy's had genuinely an unbelievable career. His whole career has been in the Premier League. And he's even been to Inter Milan. Did he win the league with Inter? Am I lying? Ashley major honours. So he's won the Europa League with United. Yeah, he won Italian champion. That's got to be Serie A, right? Italian champion. That's probably Serie A. 2021. Let's have a look. Serie A. 2020. That's 21 table. Yeah, he won the league with Inter. Won the league with Inter. Won the league at United, right? Yeah, won the Premier League. So he's won the Premier League. He's won the Europa League. He's been captain of United. He's won the Serie A. He's won the FA Cup. What a career. Genuinely, what a career he's had. Anyway, we've been on live for an hour now, so I'm going to jump off the live. But thank you to everyone that's tuned in. If you're not subscribed, do please subscribe. And thank you very much for tuning in for this deadline stream. And hopefully, and good luck to everyone in here. Hopefully, you all have a good game week and it goes well for all of us. But thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll see you soon.